joining us in studio this morning. Wearing his Roswell Literacy Council hat. Larry Martin's back with us, and wearing his different hat, but they share the same building. Stuart Dietz with Roswell American Red Cross. Morning, gentlemen. How y'all doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
Good. Do a good deal. Well, actually, last month was our first joint little conversation here. For folks who are like, well, these two don't seem like they're part of the, it's two different organizations. You're right. They are two different organizations, but they share a meeting space. They both call that same building home here. So they said, you know what? We both are in the business of helping people. One directly when disasters and emergencies or when times of need, the other in times of need as well, when people want to improve themselves and try to advance to a better position in life, then they come see the folks at the Literacy Council here. So even though the missions are different, the helping people is kind of share a common ground there a little bit. So first off, let's talk Red Cross here with storms. How are you guys doing right now as far as supply, demand? I'm sure you always could use more volunteers, things like that, but I imagine just weather and things lately probably keeping yourself and organizations like yourself pretty busy.
Yes, sir. We have been. The storms, we had some affected areas, but it didn't turn too bad. We had jumped through some hoops last week, prepping for some shelters in like Ruidoso and more in Vegas area and stuff. But we never did have to go all the way through with them. But we were there. We were set up. We were ready to go.
Good.
Made the communities happy. Roswell, we got lucky on our end here. We didn't have to do any type of sheltering, but we were able to assist a few individuals that were affected from the storm.
Sure, yeah. Some
river rising
neighborhoods and areas
like
that got a little impacted.
Other than that, we're doing good. We're moving forward. We stay ready all the time, and then we're always looking for volunteers, though. So definitely reach out to us or come on down to the office or give us a phone call.
Yeah. I'm just curious. Your Red Cross branch here, this office here, what's your territory? Like, is it Chavez, Lincoln? Is it how far out do you cover?
I cover southeastern New Mexico. I cover all the way up into Tucumcari, Quay, Santa Rosa, all the way down to Carlsbad.
Okay.
Hobbs, through this area.
So you got a pretty big footprint.
I have the 9 counties in southeast New Mexico.
Okay, so you have a big footprint. So,
Yes, sir.
So that's a lot, and obviously that probably can create logistics issues, especially when you're lacking volunteers and supplies and things like that.
It does. As a matter of fact, we're very thankful for Arizona and their support last week during the flooding and stuff, because we needed to set up in Roswell or be prepared to set up in Roswell. And we had a small team ready to go, but through their support, they was able to steam other team members down here so that we could have fully staffed what we needed.
Good deal. So it's going to be covered whenever there's an emergency. But
right.
Sure makes it a lot easier.
We want to build here locally so that we have enough members to handle it, but we're never going to turn it down.
Sure.
Even if we can't take care of it here on the spot, we'll get from the rest of the region.
Well, and local boots on the ground's got to be invaluable intel for you guys too, because obviously if they say they got the fires in Ruidoso and they're helping people, Red Cross is coming in, whether they're from Arizona or whatever, they're coming. But when they got folks from this area, Lincoln County, Chavez County, and they know the lay of the land, they know the mountains, they know that area a little better.
They're the ones that make the difference, and they're the ones that we really depend on the most.
Yeah. So if you're interested, if you're thinking you want to spend, and it's not a huge commitment, it's unless an emergency happens, and then something's going to happen. But for the most part, it's just being on the ready, helping out when you need it. Obviously, if you're not one that's wanting to be physically out at sites helping.
And we have all types of positions. It doesn't necessarily have to be out there hands-on doing it. We have a lot of behind-the-scenes positions that we could put you in. We'll use you in any aspect that we can that you're interested in.
Yeah, well, all aspects are needed. When it comes to organizing and helping, sometimes it's just those people helping to collect items, items of need, whether it's water and things like that, or toiletries and clothing, or food, or whatever it is that's needed for that particular emergency situation here. I know we have a bunch of great people in this community that are good at organizing and putting together things like that, because we see it time and time again when COVID started, when there's a tragedy in our community and we rally around a family or something like that. We need that same kind of passion for our Red Cross volunteers too.
We do, and I've noticed since coming into the community here, the community is very supportive and so forth like that. They're always willing to reach out and help. We just want to get a bunch of people on board where we have like a call-out list.
Sure.
Rather than waiting until it's in an emergency situation to ask for it, we have people on hand, on a day-to-day basis.
Sure,
So,
yeah, because once that happens, you're already behind the 8 ball because you're trying to scramble and mobilize to go wherever the problem is in southeast New Mexico here. But it's good to have that pool of people ready, a phone call away, that are ready to help out and dive in and start helping. So
right.
if you're interested, please reach out to Stuart here, and we'll talk about how to do all that here before we're done talking
problem.
here. But while you're over there talking to Stuart, you can kind of spend some time talking to Larry, too, over at the Literacy Council there. Of course, the Roswell Literacy Council is a great organization that just helps people get to that next level, whether you're completely in a non-reading state illiterate to if you're looking to try to get a high school diploma or perhaps your citizenship. They've helped a lot of people go through that process, things like that. Just if you're an individual looking to better yourself through education, the Literacy Council, free of charge, wants to help you do that, and that's what they do. So in a nutshell, that's kind of what you pretty much do, right?
Right.
But to do that, it takes volunteers, just like the Red Cross here. It takes folks that are willing to spend some time working with individuals, or even if it's just helping, with raising money, logistics, that kind of stuff, because it takes all of that to help folks in need. But they're looking for tutors, mentors, to just volunteers and helping out in any way, shape, or form.
Well, mostly tutors, I guess. I was tutoring out at the Youth Challenge this week, and we have 3 students per tutor, which is kind of high.
Okay.
Best at 1 or 2.
Sure.
So we could use a few more, and mostly math and reading.
Okay.
So if you're good at reading, you don't have to be an English major.
Mm-hmm.
Just come on down and talk to us.
Yeah, you guys help with the training and all that stuff. You just have to be literate. And
right.
If you can do math and you can do writing and these things, you can help the materials guide you through the teaching process. So you don't have to be a professor or have a teaching degree to make a difference here. You can easily just take the knowledge you have and then take the materials and the stuff that you provide to help. And you're well on your way to helping somebody get to that next level, whatever it is they're trying to do.
We have a lot of documents and forms and information sources. And we had a couple of extra rooms in the back that we let the Red Cross have. So.
Nice. So while you're done reading over there, then you're saying, "Hey, let's go and see if we can see where we can help out over at the Red Cross here too."
Yeah.
It's little hands here. This is a little, many hands make little work. This is the idea behind these things. We don't want one person spending 40 hours a week hanging out teaching. I mean, if you have that kind of time, that's amazing. But if we can get a nice pool of 40 people to do an hour a week, that would be, you know what I mean? That's what we're looking for.
Itself all the way around.
Yes.
Exactly. And that's same with either organization, whether it's the Red Cross or the Literacy Council, just to have that amount of people ready and waiting to help when it's needed. That's what we're looking for here. Right? COVID has definitely took a damper on everything from material and supply to bringing back volunteers and folks that were helping regularly back then. Aren't available necessarily now, so we need some fresh faces, some new volunteers to come and take over these, because the need doesn't change. If anything, it's more needed than ever. I would imagine, especially with a generation of kids right now that are playing catch up with school basics, with the STEM and everything else. Utilizing outside resources like the Literacy Council is very important for families here. So especially if you have kids that are not making it in school and things like that, the library, there's many resources in town that can help do that. One of those include the Literacy Council. Utilize all's on the table here when it comes to our kids and getting them where they need to be education-wise. So if they've got free events at the library or if the Literacy Council's doing something, please take advantage of it. Give your kids as many opportunities to get back to where they really should be at appropriate grade levels and stuff. And it's just the society and the world we live in that COVID, this is one of those casualties of COVID here, is we have a bunch of kids that need to get back on track with their education and things like that. So this is how you do it, one bite at a time.
Well, this town has a lot of volunteers, but I run into people who they're kind of bored with life. They retired and they're kind of looking for things, and they go to church and they do other things.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of opportunities to volunteer, and the Red Cross is one.
Absolutely.
We're one. There's a lot of service clubs in town who do good work.
And
if you're bored, hey, just go out and look around a little.
And I think it's great for the volunteers in their own psyche and their own, like you said, if you're a retiree and you got a lot of free time on your hands and let's face it, social actions and things probably slow down a little bit once you're retired, and some of your social circles get a little thinner when that happens. Yep. So use this as a chance to kind of get back in your own life, meet some new people that are wanting to help and get involved. Next thing you know, you probably got your lunch buddies and friends and people you're hanging out with that are volunteers like you, or who knows, maybe you're tutoring somebody and it almost turns into a mentorship type thing, and you end up having a great friendship out of that.
Yes.
It is a win-win for everybody. The volunteers, and I don't care what organization you're with, but if you're volunteering with an organization, 9 times out of 10, the volunteers get just as much, if not more, out of the experience as does the person or people we're quote unquote helping here.
Right, and volunteers build such a huge network, no matter what agency it's with. I mean, it puts it out there to the public. You learn from it. You gain friendships from it.
Sure.
You gain people that you can turn to. It helps build a huge network. So reach out and volunteer, with anybody in any amount of time.
Absolutely.
It's helpful.
And I would even offer, if you're younger folks out there, maybe your life schedule's a little bit busier because you got a work schedule or school or whatever. But if you've got some time to spend with either of these organizations, the experience you gained, and you learn a lot about life and other people when you put the shoe on another foot, kind of sometimes. And volunteering in organizations like that force you to put the shoe on the other foot sometimes, and things that you either read about or see a documentary on or whatever it is, you start seeing firsthand and experience firsthand, and that you get your own thoughts and experiences on that. And let's face it, I imagine, volunteering with Red Cross, you're out there helping people in floods or whatever's going on, and you're kind of learning lessons too. It's like, look at, things I should avoid. Things are, done differently. There's a lot of life lessons in volunteering and helping people for your own self and others. And so I know we're talking retirees because let's face it, retirees generally have more time on their hands than younger folks do, right? That's just the way the world is.
Life is more adventuresome too when you get out there and see what else is going on.
Exactly.
Most definitely.
You might find your new passion out there. You might you find that new hobby or thing that you never realized. Red Cross, it could be anything from, guess what? I spend a lot of time in the woods now, and I like hiking and camping and doing stuff like
Correct.
that. Or Literacy Council, you're like, you know what? I enjoyed working with these people. Maybe I ought to look into a career in teaching or something like that, or social work or something. I'm sure there's a lot of young people that volunteer, and then they find their passion. And next thing you know, they started out reading or helping someone learn to read, and now they're a professor at a college or something like that.
Well, and I've seen firsthand some of their volunteers and the amazing work they do with the people that they assist. You sit there and you watch them and you see these smiles on these kids' face because something finally clicked, or a person that they're helping, learn to read, even older, get their GED, whatever. And it just, it's amazing the work that they put out. And I like seeing that in people's face when they turn around and help those people. So I know that helps their volunteers.
Success begets success. You know what I mean? And when it's kind of like a virus in that way, where if you got good things happening and good, that tends to rub off on people and spreads that in a good way. And so doing that, and let's face it, sometimes when you're feeling blue, maybe like you said, maybe get back to the retirement. You spend a lot of time at home with your own thoughts and things, and that can make you a little sad sometimes, depending on lonely things. I mean, there's a lot of, and this can help with that kind of stuff. Meeting those people, becoming relevant again. I think that's something retirees do battle with. Is when why am I still valuable to the people around me or to my community? And when you're at home, not doing nothing, you start questioning that a little bit and going and spending a couple hours a week, helping people read or helping organize a collection drive or something like that. These are the kind of things that, and now you're like, you know what? Now I got purpose. And then when you have your first moment, that light bulb moment of someone you seeing directly benefiting from your help, when you're seeing a family in need because they lost their home to a fire, or you see a person get their GED or they get accepted to college because you spent a lot of time working with them. You got bit with the bug all of a sudden, and then that gets that desire to want to help more people gets in you, and you want to do it more, and that's a good thing. So use this as an opportunity to better yourself as much as it is to help others.
Yeah, we had two that would help get American citizenship, or not, U.S. citizenship, in the last 2 years. So,
like, see more of that.
We never know. Yeah, they're out there. Come on by. We can help.
And again, when we talk about if you're in need, if you don't have a GED or you're trying to improve that, maybe like you said, maybe you're trying to get your U.S. citizenship, maybe you're trying to get a high school diploma, maybe you're like, you know what, I want to get a college degree, but my reading and my skill level is not there. Let the Literacy Council help you, and again, it's free of charge. All you got to do is have a want and desire to come and do it. They'll come and reach the hands out and pull you across and help you navigate through it if you're willing to put in that time. So please, if you need that help, and Red Cross, they kind of, when the disaster strikes, they just show up and are there. So that's what they do. But if you'd like to, please reach out to either one of these organizations and get involved, or both. That's the great thing about these is you could actually do both. You'd spend a couple hours a week there at the office helping someone, with their reading or whatever. And then maybe on the weekends you're organizing a collection event or helping.
Smoke alarm installs that we'll be doing here in the near future and so forth.
Good deal. Yeah, because that's a lot of that's preemptive stuff, too.
Yes,
Just
sir.
making sure your own homes are safe and ready for if disaster strikes, the proper defenses are in place to save your life. So
my dad had several rent houses, and I'd go in and check them, and the smoke alarm battery was dead half the time. It was amazing. That's very dangerous.
It is.
You gotta give it. That's minor part, but it works.
Well, and that's how many lives are saved because they were woke up in the middle of the night because that thing went off.
Yeah.
And how many lives weren't because it didn't work properly or there wasn't there at all to begin with.
Right.
And it's a little thing, and we kind of blow it off. But it's no big deal until you need it. Then you want it, and you kick yourself in the head because you didn't do it properly.
Well, the smoke alarms installed is one thing that we're going to be bringing back into Roswell here in the near future once we get them kind of planned out and so forth, and we get the volunteer base to build it up. We'll be going out and installing smoke alarms in homes throughout the community, those that need them, because they're very important.
Mm-hmm.
It saves the family, it can save the home.
Sure.
So forth like that.
And having enough, the proper amount of them too,
Yes.
depending on how big your house is, one won't cover it depending, if you got a one-room house and then you're fine. But if you've got multiple bedrooms and multiple heat sources, fireplace, a kitchen, whatever, you're going to want smoke detectors around all
We
those.
install them throughout certain areas of the home, and then plus we educate people on them as well. And then we follow up with them. Because the smoke alarms we install, they're supposed to have like a 10-year lifespan on them. They're not the battery-operated ones. They're built-in batteries.
Sure.
But we turn around every few years, and we help check them out and maintain them if they ever have any issues with them.
And even if you have like the ones that are wired into your electrical system, generally they have a battery backup in there in case your power goes out. So when you hear it chirping, when the battery goes, and you're like, well, wait a minute, they're wired in the house. But usually they have a battery backup too. And usually I think the rule of thumb is when the clocks change, you change the batteries. That's kind of the unwritten rule there. And so just kind of remember stuff like that and stay on top of it. And, remind others too as well. If you got neighbors and things that maybe they're seniors and, help them out with that kind of stuff.
Right.
And take care
and until we get the event set in place, people can always reach out to us. We'll do an individual smoke alarm install as well.
Sure.
So that's something that we can provide.
And of course, if you have questions on that, they can help you navigate through all that. But if you're, again, listening up and said, shoot, I could help volunteer with that, and maybe on weekends go help and people install in fire alarms, things like that, I can help put smoke detectors in, stuff like that. Again, that's the kind of stuff Red Cross volunteers do. So if you're interested, reach out, and let's see if we can get you on the path here to meet some new people and making a difference in the community. So, any updates on the Knowledge Bowl that we want to give?
Well, we planned it for October.
Okay.
But we're having some technical difficulties.
So more to come on that.
May shift it to November, so we haven't.
Okay. So as that plan gets cemented here, we'll tell folks. But in the fall,
Yeah.
think about putting together your teams for Knowledge Bowl. Which
Team of 5 people.
Yeah, and if you're not familiar, it's think of it very similar to like when you go to like Buffalo Wild Wings or something and do a little trivia thing in the restaurant there. Not that high tech with we do it all with people and all that. But yeah, your team of 5 and all things trivia. Could be history, could be pop culture, could be geography, sports. It runs the gamut. So think about it. If it's a team up to 5, that's your max. I guess if you got one genius that wants to do it all themselves, God bless them. But
yeah, let him go do it.
You're probably going to be fighting with a slight handicap there. Just
this
saying.
is a fundraiser for us, and we.
It's one of your big ones. This is
big
like your
one.
major one
And
for
we,
each year.
Ask $100 for the team.
Yeah.
Goes for a good cause.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm basically the MC. I ask the questions, and I'm.
Are you the Grand Inquisitor?
I am creating questions. I don't go to WikiLeaks
Yeah,
because
you're not
too
digging
many
up the
people
internet.
have already looked there.
Mhm.
So I don't want any advantage for anybody. And we invite every high school to send a team.
Yeah, and this is for anybody, high school or service organization.
The Eagles won it one year,
Mhm.
and the Lions won it one year.
Usually our
And,
American Legion Post puts a team.
Yeah, American
Yeah.
Legion.
And but then we get high school. We get just a group of friends. There's no basically if you want to play, have a desire to play, got $100 to put a team in, and 4 friends or 3 friends or however many you think you guys can do to get the job done.
If you only have 2, bring them both.
That's right. But ideally, and I'll give you a peel back the curtain. You have five team members. You're going to want a good general knowledge person, kind of that jack of all trades, master of none kind of person, kind of like me. You want the sports person, someone that's just an encyclopedia of sports. You want the movie pop culture person. Usually that's generally a younger one. Maybe you need 2. You need someone in their seasoned a little bit that can hit stuff pre-1980 or 80, you know what I mean? And then a younger, a millennial or Gen Z or whatever the next one is now, that can get the more recent pop culture stuff. So there's 3 right there. You want a history buff. There's your 4th. And then maybe round it out with a geography expert or something, world news, just someone who's kind of plugged in.
Someone who's been around for a while.
Someone who kind of
You
understands
can be 92. Come on down.
the way the world works a little bit. So that way you got a good balance of youth and of experience there to cover the new stuff. When you're like, when they talk about the Grammys nowadays, you're like, I have no idea who any of those artists are. You need one of those persons, and then I need someone who also looked at, say, the 1982 Grammys and knew every one of those artists, and which one today was. So you kind of need that mix. So that's my suggestion. But I'm also a competitor, so I don't want to give you too many tips. I got to beat you guys too, because
Sounds like a very interesting challenge.
But we have a lot of fun. You guys, there's always great food and snacks and a good time. It's Sunday afternoon, yeah. And so, again, it looks like it'll be in November, but as we get closer to the event, we'll get the details out to everybody. So, but start putting your teams together now. Start, you're starting to gather for football here and all of that. Start collecting your 5 to go on for the championship here, and see if who knows, you can, and it's pretty cool to tell everybody you're smarter than everybody else, and then back it up by winning.
I came up with a question the other day. I was zipping through YouTube, and I ran into this fact that I had never heard of before. I was totally unaware of it, and it's really interesting, but I am not going to spill it.
Oh, yeah, you want to save it.
Yeah.
Can you give a hint of the category of
It was geography.
Geography. Okay. Very good. Excellent.
You know, what's the smallest river in Ecuador? You know, no, it's nothing like that.
It's be John's drainage ditch he's got at his house there in Ecuador.
No, it's trivia, but it's significant trivia.
Sure.
Questions. You know, it's
Something.
not like how many ducks flew over Birmingham, Alabama last year.
Well, yeah, because we
Nothing
could
like
all
that.
stump everybody if we get down
You
and,
bet.
you know, it's like, you're a Star Wars fan? Yeah. What color was Boba Fett's fingernail on? And you're like, come on, man, give me
Right.
real,
Right.
you know, like the questions people actually paid attention to.
And if you went to school and got educated, you probably are a lot higher than the guy who didn't.
There you go. Exactly. And I will tell you this, as I'm pushing 50. As you live life, you just absorb things, and you know we call it experience and seasoning, and getting a little wiser. Maybe not smarter, but wiser, and that does come into play sometimes in these kind of things, and especially trivia and all that. It's kind of that youth versus age, and experience versus energy kind of thing, and this one's more of a marathon, not a race. So sometimes the seasoned people are going to be the ones that are more your friend on these. Not always. But generally speaking, people that actually lived and walked the earth for some of these events generally know a little bit more about it than someone who may have heard about it in a book or on the internet or something.
Well, you know, if you're in the military and you've been overseas, you pick up a lot of stuff you don't have.
This
you don't
is
learn
true.
just sitting around.
You're absolutely true.
So
Yeah.
those people are valuable.
Just even like how people do things and ways of life and all
Right.
that. That was my time in the military. Was that was probably the most unique, cool parts about it. Is I hate to tell her, people that have never been outside this country, the rest of the world don't live like we do here. It's a different thing, and I'm not saying it's a good thing, bad thing. It's just different, and if you don't know it, it's all about perspective, and you're going to learn the older you get. That's about life, and are people good or evil? It's like, well, it's about perspective. But anyway, trivia contest. I got a little bit in the weeds there. Here, if anybody has any questions, let's first talk Red Cross here, Stuart. If anybody wants to get involved, volunteering or questions or in need, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Okay. If you're around here, come on down to the office and visit with us at 609 West 10th. We'll have a cup of coffee or water or something.
Sure.
And we'll visit. Or you can also reach out to me at 575-420-0001. Or you can log on and go to redcross.org, and it brings up a lot of opportunities and stuff, and then puts you in contact with the right folks.
Good deal.
And if you don't have time to make it to the office, you're still interested, if you reach out, I'll personally meet with you in town or whatever.
You'll come to them.
We'll accommodate your schedule, as well.
Good
All
deal.
right? So welcome anybody.
If you have a desire to help, he's going to meet you in the middle, wherever
sir.
that is. And like you said, please think about this kind of, because especially Red Cross. Red Cross is one of those things that we don't think much about it till disaster strikes, and then they just show up like beacons of light in the night, in the storm, here to do this. And on the surface, that just happens, and we don't think much of it. But there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of logistics, a lot of kind-hearted people donating time, energy, hours and hours of their lives.
And we have opportunities all the way from a local level all the way up to a national level.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's plenty of opportunity out there depending on what piques your interest.
Yeah. So if you want to continue to make sure the next generations, when disaster strikes, that there's someone there to, the cross comes running to help, and it takes your efforts and all of our efforts to make sure that happens. So please think about it.
His office is in the Literacy Council building,
Yes.
which, like you said, is on 10th Street.
Yeah. Same building
Just-
you guys right
yeah,
there.
same building. So we have a big sign. I don't know. Do you have a sign out
Yes,
there?
sir. Our sign's
Okay.
up there now.
Okay.
And we're just, I guess, west of Missouri,
Okay.
near the adult center. People
Yes.
know what that is.
Yeah, 10th and West of Missouri there.
Yeah.
So, but come on by. What's general office hours over there for you guys?
Well, for us, it's like noon to 4 or 5.
Okay, for the Literacy
Not all
Council.
the time, but if a tutor has a date, then obviously they can meet them there.
Okay,
It doesn't have to be. In fact, we prefer you meet us at the office. We have computers and
sure. You got your learning stations there.
learning
and
stations.
All the
and
stuff you need.
programs they can
Yeah.
Student can come in and you can just turn them over to a program for a while.
Gotcha.
That's a minor. You don't want to do that all the time.
Sure.
That's a way to do it.
Sure. So they can kind of get started on their own in there, and then as they get farther in, that's when then they've got a tutor actually sitting and working hand in hand with them. So, gotcha. But again, you like to do all that at the office there because that's where the equipment is, and it's a nice central place for everyone to meet.
Yeah, and I suggest you come by and talk to Stuart or
Yeah.
whoever's there. And
in general, we're there Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, but we're kind of in and out according to what's going on.
Gotcha.
So,
There's an emergency
if,
or something.
If the Red Cross vehicle ain't up front, then just reach out to the phone number and I'll meet you back there. I'll meet you somewhere else in town.
And I imagine since they're neighbors here, they kind of work with each other.
Oh, yeah.
So if Red Cross
You
folks
bet.
come in and the literacy council there, they take care of what as much as they can for them, and vice versa. When someone comes in needing literacy counsel and it's before and it's Red Cross, they're there to help you. At least get you in touch with or get you set up to be in touch with whoever you need to. So,
Yes.
But please come on by the building. Pretty much Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, someone will be there, whether it's Red Cross or the Literacy Council. And by all means, if you are needing of help, like we're looking for volunteers and things, but if you're trying to get your GED, if you're trying to get your U.S. citizenship, if you're trying to become literate, or if you're, whatever it is you want to help, please reach out to the Literacy Council. Everything they do for you is free of charge, and please don't feel, because I imagine there's also an embarrassment factor. You get some people that have been, especially adults that have navigated this part of life pretty, at least in their heads, pretty well without that. And so, we tend to put it off sometimes because whatever it is, maybe you had to leave school early because of work or family, whatever, and then you just navigate life. And you never get around to going back and getting that degree or that diploma and things like that. And so it turns into, well, shoot, I'm already in my 50, 60, whatever that age is. And you're like, what's the point now? And it's always, if you're breathing and still, it's always a point in progressing and getting better. So please don't have that reservation or that, why bother or embarrassment like I should be reading and I'm not, and I'm embarrassed to walk in here because I don't want people to know that I have trouble reading. And please don't let any of that be a hindrance. No judgment, no any of that stuff. Just here to help. That's the whole point. Life happens. We all get it. Everybody that comes through the door of the Literacy Council needing help has a unique and different story, whether it was life's factors that caused that, or perhaps learning disabilities and their own, medical issues, things like that, or who knows? It could be any number of things. That just, not all of us had the same starting point in life.
Right. And I can tell you from personal experience, it's never too late to complete or further your education.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
don't hesitate.
And not to mention your own mental psyche when you bust through those barriers and you achieve those goals, and the self-esteem, the self awareness, all of that it comes up and is a good thing. So, but anyway,
well, I've been to several of the Youth Challenge graduations, and it's absolutely amazing. Mothers cry, dads can't believe their son has improved so much.
Yeah,
it's amazing. I mean, you're standing there watching this, and I've seen a lot of military graduations, believe me, and this is very similar.
Well, it's let's face it, your families always want the best for this person, and they've been fighting that struggle with that person. And to see them finally hit that point where they've hit that pinnacle, they've overcame that challenge, and are now ready to go on and do bigger, better things with their lives. I mean, as a parent, I can't imagine there's no better feeling when because it's a moment of success for a parent. I don't have kids myself, but I can just imagine when all the growing up, all the things you have in life, and the good, the bad, and everything in between. When that moment of you see that your child cross that stage and that the struggles they went through and are now achieving things because they put forth effort. There's no other better feeling in the world for those parents. I imagine. I get it. Military graduate, basic and all that too, but it's a different animal when you see kids and people that have gone through more adversity than maybe some of those basic training folks did and are able to come out on the other side better. That doesn't make you happy. You're not human.
I'd like to put a plug in for Roswell Senior Volunteers, RSVP,
Yes.
here in town.
Always looking for volunteers
That's
as
right.
well.
And this is generally for senior 50 and up. If you don't know what to do, come by and see them. And Sean will talk to him, and he's on somewhere around 500 South Sunset
Okay.
near the storage unit.
I got
Best
you.
I can tell you.
Okay. Very good. I know
But if you
the
don't know
area
what
you're talking about
if
there.
you're looking for something to do, hey, talk to him.
Yeah, especially for seniors 50 and up, they've
Yes.
got a lot of great
Yeah.
stuff. And
They'll tune you into.
yeah, and again,
Whatever.
back to that social side. If you're looking to make new friends, and you'll probably find a lot of like-minded people over there at RSVP too.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. Give out the phone number for if anybody has any questions regarding Literacy Council.
Okay, 575 and it's 840-4689.
Very good. Call that. Leave a voicemail. If you don't get a live person, they will get back to you. Don't forget Roswell Literacy Council does have a Facebook page as well, and you can find information there too if you need it. So very good.
Also, I'm sure there's another phone number because there always is. But go to the page or go to the building. Just drop by and talk.
Come on by. Yeah.
And you'll see the facilities, and it'll sort of convince you that we can help.
Absolutely. Yeah, you'll come see the facility, see what's available, and like I said, it's and let's face it, you guys have used this last couple years of COVID to really do some work and upgrade in that facility where you couldn't physically be there to help people directly. You're like, well, we're going to get ready for when we can again, and now we're at that point where we can again, and we've got a great facility. We just need volunteers, and we need people to come back to the fold and get back to work here.
Right.
So, good deal. Is there anything we missed, Stuart? Is there anything we missed on your end that we wanted to get, or did we get it all?
No, sir. Just we're glad to be back involved in the community and so forth, and we hope to build on it. And any suggestions anybody has, they can reach out with that, and we welcome anybody that wants to participate.
Absolutely. More hands make less work. That's always and you know what? It's kind of fun too sometimes. Don't let them kid you. There's some fun in all this stuff too.
We have some enjoyable times. We do.
Matter of fact, probably stuff that really sticks with you. Years down the road when you're quietly reflecting, you think back on some of these things you did with either organization, and you look
Right.
back fondly.
Well,
on
it's
it,
interesting because when I was in Vietnam, or actually Thailand, and I had a problem, and I had to use the telephone. Now, this is 66, 67, I guess.
Technology is a little different then.
And I had to go to the Red Cross to get the phone to call the country, call the U.S.
And you're like,
a little different now. Isn't
yeah,
it?
it is a lot different now. I mean, even like when I was in the military and we'd like be deployed and the ways to contact home and all that, the channels and things, now it's, they got their own cell phones and things. Back then, if you didn't have a calling card when I was in, you had to call, like my parents lived in the D.C. area. So I would actually call Andrews Air Force Base, and then Andrews Air Force Base would call them and put us through together, and that was how it worked.
And we're still very big involved in that. We have our what we call service to the armed forces that still handle a lot of that type situation today.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but technology's changed it, but it's still the same animal, just different wires you cross it, I guess. So, thank you guys, appreciate it. We'll see you guys here next time. Okay.
Okay.
all right. Thank you.
All right, it's 9:50.